Welcome back. You are now in the independent practice part of our module. So let's go in here and show you what you're going to do today. So when you are filling out this graphic organizer, what I would like is for you to have three different goals. One that's focused on the short term. So one goal that you can work on from now until the end of the school year. This is super important because when you start off with really small goals and then you accomplish them, it really gets the momentum going. The ball is rolling, and then it makes it easier to follow through with next year's goals, and then it makes it easier to think about, oh, I did these things and it made this difference. So I can tie my actions right now to something that's going to help future me. Okay, so that's the most important. So short term, next year goal, one goal is going to set you up for your dream activity after high school. Okay. So if you don't know where to start, we're going to go over the exemplar together. So first things first, it needs to be specific. Sorry, it needs to be specific. And what I mean by specific is you can't just be like, oh, I want to be better at school. Well, yeah, we all do. It would be great if it just came easy. But you need to identify, what is that specific thing that you're missing that you would like to change, that you would like to do. Okay, so my short-term goal, and this actually is my goal for working at home, because a lot of you, I'm also struggling with procrastination and that sort of thing. So I want to get better at getting work done from home. Okay, so that is my very specific goal. I have to figure out how to work in this space that I'm in. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it measurable. Okay, so that is how do I know I'm doing the thing that I want to do? That is the question you should be asking yourself. So for me, okay, how do I know I'm doing the thing that I want to do to accomplish this goal of getting work done at home? I'm going to set a very specific time from 4 to 6 to turn off my phone and complete all of my modules for that week. Attainable is going to be is this something I could reasonably do? Is there things around me, resources that can help me actually accomplish this? For example, if you're doing a business goal one day in the future, you're I want to make $1 million. That's not a very attainable goal unless you have I want to start a business, and then the first 3 years I want to hit this mark, and the second year I want to hit this mark, and then the third year I want to franchise. Okay, so it's got to be what can you do over time? So for me, for my phone is my biggest distraction ever. I'm always on it. So during this time period, I'm going to put my phone in another room, or if that's not working, I'm going to give it to someone I trust so that I'm not tempted to use it. So this could be my mom or my sister or a sibling Elizabeth, and be like, hey, don't give me my phone, even if it buzzes, until I've done these things. Okay. So use the resources around you. Attainable is what are those resources you're going to access to get better? The next one is relevant. So this is also ties into why is this important? And again, we all have goals of we want to be better. I think that's a new normal human thing, is to want to improve yourself. But you have to name what is it going to do for me now? What is it going to do for me in the future to really believe that really help you follow through in those moments of ugh, I'm so unmotivated to do stuff right now. I'm so tired. I didn't get sleep last night. Whatever's happened, it's making it harder. Okay, so for me, if I was a student, I'd be oh, I think this is gonna help me get better at working from home, which is gonna help me be better about doing homework and projects now and in college and stuff. So next year, I've never been good at turning in homework because I hate it. And I have a hard time focusing at home. So if I can figure this out now, that's going to be useful to me later. Not just now, but later. Okay. And then time bound. So have some sort of deadline that you are meeting each day. Okay. So I'm going to show my mom or my sister each day when I finish around 6:30 to help me stay accountable. Because, when I'm just accountable to myself, I'm I could do it later. I have time. But when I have to meet someone and I have to give it to them at a certain time, that helps me feel that urgency, which we have in the classroom, but is hard to replicate when you're at home working on your own. Okay. Then we have our next year goal. So one goal that I could do is I don't want as many tardies. Like I have so many tardies and my mom gets mad. And so I need to do something about that. I think I switched these by accident. So there's a lot of areas. Maybe I'm a person where like there's a lot of areas I can improve in school. Maybe I want to do better at math. Maybe I want to do better at, you know, asking questions in class. We all have like really tiny areas where we can improve. And honestly, it's that compounded effect where you work on a bunch of little things and it ends up to like a greater overall life for you. And really, like, I think that's the thing that people don't always understand about making habits is it's the little things that are going to benefit you in the long run. It doesn't have to be like some grand goal, especially like if it's not attainable. It's going to make you not follow through. Okay, so perfect time to reflect on all this. So I don't want as many tardies. So if I'm going to measure that, how will I know that I'm doing the thing that I do? And for this one, like if you're like a frequent tardy person, you might not start off being like 100% perfect. So next year I'm going to, so let's say first try, no, I'm going to be late to no more than one class per day, maybe to start off with. You know, give yourself a little wiggle room. That's okay. You build on that goal and you get better at it. Okay, so that's my measurable. Like I know now that I've done the thing because I was only late to one class and it was because of lunch. And I had to walk across campus. You know, that sort of thing. Now, like, what is going to make it attainable for me? What are my resources that I could use to implement that? So I'm going to set my alarm on my phone that reminds me to start walking to class like 2 minutes before it starts. Okay. And then again, relevance. Like, why is this important to me? And I can't tell this like to you. I mean, of course, your teachers are like, oh, it's important to do this and that, and your parents are like, oh, it's important to be this and that. But really, only you can identify why it's important to you. So that's like the biggest piece in this, I believe. So, say for example, like last parent-teacher conference, I had a ton of tardies, and my mom was really mad about all the tardies. So like I really don't want to make my mom mad. So that's the thing that's going to help me right now. It's going to make my life easier by like not having to deal with the wrath of my mom. Okay. But there's also probably going to help me like I get a job or go to college and stuff. So those are things like it's probably going to benefit me later too. Because if I don't show up to a job on time, then you know I'm going to get fired. So when I'm thinking like, I don't want to go to class, I just want to sit here and talk to my friends, you're like, but if I learn this habit now, not only is my mom not going to be mad at me, but I'm going to be better about it in the future too. Okay. And then time bound. Okay. So, make sure there's like some way you're checking in on your goal every week and understanding like if you're meeting it or not meeting it, because there's going to be times where life gets in the way and you don't meet your goal, and you need to identify why. Because if you can't sit like reflect and identify why, then it's going to keep happening. You're going to lose sight of your goals, and you're not going to go forward with that. So me, I'm gonna ask Mr. Heaton or my advisor, like who's ever available, to ask me how my goal is going on Friday every week. Okay, so they're like, hey, Mr. Heaton like comes up and is like, hey, how's class going? But like the tardy's going, and I'm like, hey, you know, I messed up like twice this week. Here are the reasons why. Having to explain that, having to like think about it and reflect on it is gonna make it more likely. And if I'm checking in on that every week, I'm more likely to follow through with my goals because it's all about consistency. It's not about motivation, it's consistency. Yep. And then here's an after high school goal. So dream big. kids, like do something big. I would love to hear what you were thinking about doing after college. It could really be anything. Like you can take a year off and travel. You can get your cosmetology license. You can move out and uh, live with like friends and roommates and like be totally sufficient. That's a super exciting time in life when you become independent. All those are good goals. So whatever you're like, man, once I'm out of high school, I'm gonna. That's what I want you to write down. So mine is, if I was a student, like I want to take a year off before going to college to travel. So now that I've made it specific, I need to think about like, and it, for example, if I just said, oh, I want to travel, that's not super helpful. Be like, I want to use this specific time frame after high school in between college to like explore multiple places. So specific, as specific as you can make it. There's no such thing as too specific. You can go into greater detail if you would like to. So how am I going to make that measurable? All right. So, well, the first thing I got to do is I got to have that job so I can save up money to do this great trip. So I'm going to apply for 2 jobs a day. Like I'm going to go walk around a gas station or like, River Point. I'm going to apply for 2 jobs a day during the summer until I get one. Okay. So like that is how I know that I'm doing the things. I got up, I applied and filled applications at 2 places. And then eventually it's going to reap benefits. You're going to get one. So that's how I know I'm doing the things I'm supposed to be doing. The next one is once I have that job. So this is for attainable, like what resources am I going to use? Once I have that job, I'm going to take 20% of my paycheck and I'm going to put it in a savings account and not touch it. So this makes it attainable for 2 reasons. One, when you have a job, especially for the first time, like it's so exciting to spend money, and you might spend all of it really quickly. It goes really quickly. So if I have like 60% of my paycheck goes to fun things like going to the mall with my friends, or going and seeing movies, or going out to eat, or getting Grubhub or whatever. Then like I still have that wiggle room. I'm still accomplishing my goals, but I'm also like doing something that's gonna help me later on. So just 20%, and I'm gonna put it in a savings account. Again, relevancy. Like, why is this important to you? Like, what are you gonna get out of it? So for me, I'd be like, oh, maybe I've never been outside Colorado, and I really want to see like Greece and Japan and like other places with my friends. And then the next one, like, and you'll notice kind of a trend in the time-bound one is like, if you can attach your time-bound goal to checking in with someone, you are so much more likely to follow through. Okay, having to check in with someone is like really the only way I follow through with goals. That's my advice. So time-bound. My best friend Chris and I are going to apply for jobs together every day. So we're going to do that 2 jobs, and then we get to look at each other's savings accounts online, like through our other portal, to make sure that we're actually saving. So you could look at your friend and be like, hey, you only saved $5 this last week. And your friend might be like, I know. And it just reminds you, it's just like having a regular reminder, be like, yeah, I need to do that. Okay. So that is kind of what I'm looking for. I hope this is helpful to you. Drop a question in the chat if you need anything from me, and I will see you in the next video.